Sometimes, as a psychiatrist, I only get a glimpse of people's lives, and it may be the deepest, darkest moments of their life. Maybe they're going through marital conflict, through a divorce, through abuse. Maybe they lost their job, financial struggles, dealing with an addiction, loss of a family member or a friend. You name it, the people may be going through these things, and it may be causing a lot of their mental health problems, whether it's trouble sleeping, anxiety, mood problems. So other times people may be getting into mental health treatment just because they feel stagnant in their life, and they feel like, no matter what they do, they're not getting to where they're supposed to be going. Maybe they're not sure how to get to that next level. So medications and therapy can help with dealing with some of the mood swings, the problem sleeping, the anger issues, the anxiety. It can also help with people evaluating what's going on in their life, why they feel stagnant, and maybe give them some techniques what they can do to help with it. But I think also taking a look at the life of Joseph from the Old Testament can help one deal with some of the deepest and darkest moments of their life, can also help one see what they need to do to help take their lives to the next level. In particular, what we see is Joseph had strong and good character that helped him succeed. So just a little bit of reminder about his life if you don't know it already. He was sold into slavery by his brothers when he was young, and he was also imprisoned for several years for a crime that he didn't commit. So sometimes as a psychiatrist, we see people in those deepest and darkest moments, and it's like the life of Joseph, like when Joseph was just sold into slavery or when he's wrongly imprisoned. Those are really deep and dark moments in his life. And yeah, maybe there's some sort of medication or intervention at that time that can help alleviate the symptoms, but perhaps there's like a good moral lesson that needs to be learned or developed or strengthened over time, and that character is really what is important and what's going to last long. So there's some things like that which is just hard to pinpoint, like in mental health office setting, which is sort of why I'm doing a video like this to try to teach that message. Also, the importance about good character is that no one wants to work with somebody who is like a jerk or prideful or arrogant or doesn't listen. People want to work with people that are kind, good, joyful, people with those good character qualities. And so that's really the character qualities is really what's going to make notice in the work setting and dealing with people. So we can look at some of these aspects of his life, that if someone was sold into slavery or wrongly imprisoned, and if they didn't have a trust or a belief in God, they may have developed a negative outlook on life, on people, on their circumstances. And this negative outlook in turn is going to affect their feelings and it will affect their actions. But what's beautiful about Joseph's life is even during those deep and darkest moments, he remained trusting in God. He never lost his trust in God, and he remained hopeful that God sees his situation and will help him at the right time. So he continued to live an honest and good life. For example, he chose not to have sexual relations with Potiphar, the person he was serving, with his wife, because he knew that was not going to be pleasing to God or to Potiphar. He continued to be patient and well-mannered even when imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit. And Joseph's breakthrough came when his talents or gifts or abilities or whatever you call it, he had this gift in interpreting dreams, and Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, asked Joseph to interpret his dream for him several years after Joseph was imprisoned. And when Joseph successfully interpreted the dream for Pharaoh, it helped him to become one of the leaders of the country. So God eventually gave Joseph's breakthrough because Joseph continued to live a morally good and right life. So not only in mental health, but also in spirituality, these deepest and darkest moments are tests to see how one handles those situations. Is someone going to handle it in a healthy or unhealthy way? Do they try to pray about it, try to ask wise counsel, or do they try to resort to drugs, food, alcohol, lust? Do they try to fill up those negative emotions or feelings with something that's unhealthy? Joseph's life shows us as being humble, conducting oneself in a right, good moral conduct, and trusting that God will see things and save in due season or at the right time helps one to persevere. Contrast this with someone like Saul. Saul was initially humble, trusted in God, had a good relationship with God, but when Saul became king, he became proud. And this pride and arrogance that he carried himself with, So at once he was exalted because of humility, but he lost that high position that he had because of his pride. He neglected his relationship with God, and therefore he lost his kingdom. But it was a process. When he neglected his relationship with God, he became emotionally distressed. He became more prone to anger, more prone to jealousy, more prone to being wrongly suspicious of other people, and he lost all that he had because of it. So there's nothing wrong with using medications or therapy or both to try and help one get through the struggles that they're going through, but that's not necessarily the most important thing. The most important thing is to have a close relationship with God through the struggle, and God will help guide someone to the right way, whether it's through medications or whether it's through therapy or whether it's through changing the circumstances in one's life. Perhaps God can take care of somebody through the help of a physician or through the help of a therapist. Or perhaps God has another way to deal with a situation depending on the person and what that person needs. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed this and for more videos like this one.